What's going on, my fellow residents? It's me, TheFrozenCavern, and today we're going to continue through our journey through Cuphead. Now, in the last episode, we did most of the island, but in this episode, we're going to begin with tree top troubles. Now, one thing I need to mention is that this is a post-commentary, because unfortunately, when I recorded, it only recorded the gameplay and none of the actual commentary. So, you know, that's fun, but I'm just gonna have to deal with it. And this is going to be a little awkward considering I've never done post-commentary. All of my videos have been live commentaries. It's never been post. So it's going to be interesting having to try and watch the footage, especially with it being Cuphead. But, oh goodness. So, I love how now I'm not able to actually say anything. I usually, well, it's not really like I have stuff planned. It's more just I go with the flow. But like, I go with the flow as I'm playing the game. Now I'm just solely focused on watching the gameplay that I've recorded and making stuff off of that. But, my goodness. Okay, here I died because unlike most platformers where the screen will move back down after you fall like a certain distance, here unfortunately it doesn't do that. So you can still get hit if you fall down, which it's unfortunate, and you can end up dying a lot that way. Just like how I did there. And another thing is that it's going to be a little bit awkward trying to edit all of this, because keep in mind the footage I'm watching right now is not edited either. So it's gonna be fun trying to edit so that everything makes sense. And oh goodness, and also I'm not going to have too much of like actual like editing aside from just the commentary being put over, you know, the actual video. But I somehow have to manage to make all this work. It's going to be very, very confusing, but I'll make it work. Thank me, by the way, because oh goodness, not only is this game difficult, it's giving me issues with having to like record the game. Now, with how these bugs work is that once you land on the bugs, a fireball will go up from the bottom of the screen and they'll just get rid of the platform, so you have to be pretty quick about it. Just be able to jump in between things and know what you're doing. And thankfully I managed to, and I also managed to complete the level. Alright, let's see what the grade is here. That's a pretty decent rating. Grade is a B-, not bad. Not bad indeed. And thankfully I can just skip over any kind of load screen here. So now we've done everything in World 1, so we're able to just head over to World 2. But I guess I'm going to buy an item first, since I did just do a run and gun mission and get a bunch of items. Now I think here I get the chaser and the spread shot. Yeah, spread. That's what it's called. Wait, no, I can't get both, can I? No, I can only get one. Which one do I get? I think I get chaser. No, I get spread. Okay, whatever. Just because I played the game does not mean I actually know what actually happened. Not all the time. Okay, so do I go over to the... No, I don't. Okay, I guess not. There was like an axe character I might have mentioned in episode 1, but regardless, we're going to go into the die house, and there we'll go over into the next area. And also, King Dice has his own song, but I don't care too much about that. And here's the cutscene, so I'm gonna try and actually do the thing. Guys, hang on. Thank the stars I caught up with you. I believe I found a way out of this mess you're in. Hot dog, you have? Your strength is growing. You'll soon be a match for that no-good King Dice, and maybe even the devil himself. Golly, do you really think? I do, but you'll never get close to the devil unless you already have those soul contracts in hand. Only then will you get a chance to turn the tables on that fiend. So when that time comes, do the right thing. Okay, so most of that was actually pretty accurate. Only issue is like the first phrase, because for some reason, I guess I was talking over it, but just for some reason it didn't work out the way that I thought it would. So doing that's going to be a little bit awkward. But as you can see here, I'm just roaming around, and I'm showing this little spot here, which shows how many times you died in the game, and so far I died 16 times. That's not that bad, but given how the rest of this episode is going to go, that's not going to last very long of being that short of a number, because at the end of the game, during my first playthrough, I had 265 deaths at the end of the game. Some people have had way worse, to be honest. Some people have had way worse, so I think I did pretty good, kind of, maybe, not entirely sure. But now it's time to do this boss, and I really should have packed water. I think I do have water. Yes, I do. I have a full bottle here. Yay, because I'm gonna need it. Okay, so this fight revolves a lot with variance in terms of the phases, because to be honest, this cupcake, I hate this cupcake very much because it's easy to get hit when you're fighting against that. But I think there's like 6 variants. The cupcake is one. This is the waffle variant where the waffle splits up and will go back into itself, and then the second phase, little jelly beans will be running across the bottom, so you gotta make sure you watch out for those too. And the waffle, it can be annoying, but it's definitely not the worst one. I think this is a Jawbreaker. Okay, the Jawbreaker's not that bad. Like, to be honest, Jawbreaker's probably, like, if not the easiest, maybe like the second easiest variant to actually deal with. And during the third time of a variant actually going out, the actual, like, main boss is now using candy canes as a shotgun. So, you know, that's surprising. And if I'm correct, yeah, now she's sending the actual, like, what is it, castle wall thing at you, and she can actually throw her head at you, which I'm pretty sure is how I died just there. But okay, so here is the candy corn, and the candy corn might actually be the most annoying because this is the other variant that I was mentioning before, because the candy corn is very, very random. I mean, this game in general is random, but the candy corn is probably one of the most random enemies in the entire game. So now we're back on this section of the fight, and hopefully we can dodge her head this time, as well as the peppermint thing, which you can also parry off of. You can parry off of anything that's pink. I don't think that the, what is it? The gingerbread house, or whatever that is, that the boss is riding on top of, I don't think you can parry that. I think that's like technically a different color of pink, so it doesn't really count. And I just barely managed to make sure I didn't get hit there. But unfortunately, I couldn't avoid everything. And I was a long way from actually beating the boss too. So this is, it can be the easiest, but it can also be a little bit annoying. But basically all you have to do is just dodge the, you know, candy that comes out from his head. And this is the easiest variant when it's on the first one, because you don't have any other, like, projectiles on screen trying to hit you. So if it's on the third one, then that's when it's at its worst. But if it's at the start, then it's not that bad. And again, we're dodging the head here, trying to make sure we don't get caught between the peppermint and the floating head. And by the way, just looking at, like, Cuphead, like, just looking at people play Cuphead, and now me playing Cuphead, it's definitely weird, because, my goodness, like, playing this game and seeing other people play this game is two completely different things. You never really, like, think about it too much, but it definitely is. Like, say for speedrunners, dude, and I'm surprised I didn't get hit there, but say for, like, speedrunners are amazing. Like, they really are. Especially for, like, people who do this game, because it requires a lot of skill. Am I about to die? Okay! I used my super and just barely won that, because I'm pretty sure I would have died there had I not actually done that. So, props to me for the quick thinking. But, okay, what's the grading here? Under 2 minutes. I think it was a B something. Or this is flat out B. That is perfectly fine. I will take that. But now we are going into... what boss is this? I think we take a shortcut in here, instead of actually going to, like, a boss or a level or something like that. Okay, we talked to her and it mentions the shortcuts, which I for whatever reason think that going through the shortcut here, which you are now seeing on screen, yeah, there are hidden shortcuts in, I think, 2 areas of the game, but you can take these shortcuts to go to other, like, areas of the game, just to, you know, cheat your way through the level. And okay, so I make a point about this later on in the video, but here I did mention that one of the songs in this area actually has a reference to another song. You'll see it later in the video, but oh goodness, I don't like this level. And it's also going to be a pain editing for this level as well because, oh goodness. Okay, I die a lot in this level, let me just say that. So for this level, the gimmick is that there's these pink cards just laid around throughout the entire level. And how they work is that when you parry on them, you'll go to the top or the bottom side depending on when you actually originated from when you parried. And okay, I died to a rocket, that's nice. I think he was like really fast, so I wasn't actually able to see him. But like, I don't like parrying on the cards, like you do have to. But the reason why I don't like parrying on them is because when you do parry on them, well, when you parry on normal objects, you have a little bit of an extra, like, boost of height whenever you parry off of them. So when you turn over, it's not as if it's the initial boost of height and then you go downward or upward, which is still bad either way. But as soon as you parry, you'll take the extra boost in the opposite direction of where it would normally go. I'm hoping that I'm able to explain this properly because my goodness, it doesn't sound like it is. Like, I know that okay, I fell into a pit. Like, I know that what I'm saying sounds right, but at the same time, it's like, it's so bizarre to the point where it's like, should I even bother trying to explain this? To be honest, not really. And also, I hate these tubas. I almost said trumpets for some reason. I hate these tubas because, oh goodness, they can sometimes take a long time to defeat, mainly because of their stupid attack getting in the way. And again, you have to utilize the pink cards that are here in order to actually get a decent amount of damage off of them. But I managed to take care of them somewhat decently. Not really. And then also the, what is it? The green and pink, what are those things? I remember, it's like the thing with marbles and all that. I forget what the actual thing is called. I think it's called jacks or something like that. But those, whatever, spike things, it's whatever. They can get in the way sometimes because aiming in this game, you can only aim in one of 8 directions. So it's not a complete 360 degree thing. So if they manage to like get into that slight blind spot that you can't aim in, then you're kind of screwed and you're gonna die and there's nothing you can do about it. So you kind of just have to try and work with what you get. But if what you get is bad, it's gonna be a bad time. So like when I was first going through this level, to be honest, this is probably my least favorite run and gun level in the entire game. Maybe a future a future episode will prove me differently, but yeah, this has to, for right now at least, be my least favorite level in the game. And now we just exit from the top of the level, which doesn't physically make sense, but I'm talking about that in a game with animated cups and candy and stuff like that. So I really shouldn't be considering calling anything like that like out of the ordinary. I'm gonna be, which isn't that bad. It's kind of surprising considering how many times I died. Like I say before, how many times you die in a level has nothing to do with the actual grading. It does nothing. But now we're going to go into the shop since we have more money now. And this is where I get the chaser, what is it? Chaser, like, shot ability. And the chaser ability, as cheap as it sounds, I think I mentioned this in the first episode as well, but the chaser ability, as cheap as it sounds, you can basically just shoot without actually needing to aim. But at the same time, it doesn't actually feel cheap, which is good, because A, it also decreases your damage. So, you know, there's a drawback, and there are some times where you are definitely going to need it. So, it's fine. But I also got a charge ability, which basically you have to like charge it up and then you can shoot it, but you have to really you have to have good precision and timing because it's only one singular shot that you can charge up. So like I said, We gotta make sure that everything works out. So now we're in the Mausoleum for our second superpower, or super, whatever. But again, this is the same as the first Mausoleum, just parry all the ghosts and everything will be fine. So I can just skip over that. It's all fine. But the super that we get from that is invincibility for a short amount of time. So, you know, that'll be good. And oh goodness, Grim Matchstick. Okay, so let me just go off by saying, my goodness, this is one of the hardest bosses starting off. Like, no matter how many times I go back to this boss, it is always one of the most difficult ones. Well, no, not this boss. Well, yeah, technically, but going back to this game, this is definitely one of the most difficult bosses, especially early on in the game. Well, it's not early on, it's technically like about halfway through, but regardless, going this far into the game, it's definitely a very, very difficult boss. But it's not even for the first phase, because the first phase is, of course, like the easiest one out of the three. But the second one can be annoying, but that's really if you don't have like how the fireballs work, and you'll see the fireballs at some point. But that's only if you don't know how the fireballs work, because the fireballs, like, they jump to where you might go instead of where you are. That's how it is most of the time. There are a few times where they'll jump where you are, but I guess that's also technically where you might be. So right now you'll see the fireballs at the bottom, and they'll jump around, and of course I jump and die as I just go down onto the tongue. Like, one thing that I will have to do later on in the game, which I did end up doing, well, not in the game, later on in this episode that I ended up doing, was switching my weapons, because the third phase is impossible with the setup that I had. Because now that you guys have seen like the second phase, and you've seen a good amount of times, I'm going to show you the third phase. Now, the reason why the third phase can absolutely destroy you is because one, it spawns 3 dragon heads, which you would think is like, well, at first you would think is bad enough already, but it only gets worse with with like the attack that they actually do, because their little fireball, if you hit it too much, which is like twice or even once with some weapon variants, if you hit it like once or twice, then they split off into 4 individual like little fireballs, which, oh goodness, it can take a lot of like coverage. But like with the weapons that I have, the boomerang-esque type weapon can go back and accidentally hit something that's off screen, so it can accidentally make something that I didn't want. Well, it can accidentally like expand the fireball so that it gives me more of a chance to get hit, which, you know, obviously is bad. But Chaser is also really bad too, because the Chaser goes after like the fireball orbs, and if you hit those twice with it, then it'll expand. So, you know, that's nice. Basically, both of the weapons that I had were completely useless, and after that I had to take a few days off to try and beat this boss. And if you don't if you don't see another episode for a decent while, that's the reason why, because this game is very, very difficult. I'm going to stress that out if you were watching this. So yeah, this game's difficult. It is very, very difficult, and oh goodness, it's going to take a while probably for this Let's Play. It's not even going to be that many parts, which is the crazy thing. It's going to be like maybe 5 at most, maybe 6, but post-commentary over, because the rest of this is literally just me trying to beat the boss, but failing miserably. So I'm going to let the past, well, technically both of these are past, but the more past Frozen handle this.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting, and they had to hire a new one.
There we go. Alright, goodness, I probably put some boss music from Kingdom Hearts maybe. I don't know. I put it over that. But my goodness. So, I'm just gonna say this now. I made an announcement on Twitter that I would be Let's Playing this game. If you haven't followed my Twitter, it's in the description, by the way. B-, I will take it. But, in the description, in the description, Twitter, check that out. But, I said that I would be Let's Playing this game. And I decided to postpone it because of how difficult this game is. Because this boss. I had to take a break of a few days to try to do this boss. But thankfully, I didn't let it beat me. And that's pretty much what Cuphead and any games that are this difficult are all about. Problem is, I still have a bunch of other bosses on this island. How many do I have? Let me just do a quick check. I have 3 bosses and 1 actual level. So since I'm recording this in 2 separate sessions, well, this episode is 2 separate sessions, I don't really know what to do right now. Well, I guess we can do this one since I'm right next to it. But I don't think this one is as bad. Actually, I just realized I'm doing this completely out of order. So yeah, we're gonna forget about him real quick because there's actually something I need to get first. Because I don't think I talked to this guy. And this guy basically gives you mini bombs with your airplane now, which is going to be very, very much needed and very much appreciated when it comes to these, aerial bosses. Because the bombs do a lot more damage than just the regular, okay. Granted, again, I haven't played this game in a good while, so I kind of forget how some of their attacks work. But that's all what Cuphead is about. Just figuring out how attacks work and adapting. Hopefully, well, some can adapt faster than others, but it's all about adapting. Like, see, we're doing better so far. Haven't gotten hit yet. Alright, now we're in a new phase. Oh, right, this phase. Okay. Just keep your eyes on the feathers. That's the most important thing when you're trying to dodge that attack. Just keep your eyes on the feathers. And it's also best not to use your super attack. And also it's best if he's in the middle of the screen when he's doing that attack. That way you can actually attack him while you're dodging. Because if he's at like the very top, you're not going to be able to dodge as well. I'm not exactly sure about the very bottom. It might be the same for the middle, but I haven't been able to test it out. Oh, goodness. Okay, that was... Oh, I still got hit. Okay. This isn't that bad. I can still get through this phase. There we go. Alright, so this phase is definitely the worst one of the entire boss. Because, oh goodness, sometimes this boss feels like it lasts the longest. And it's quite difficult to actually hit him. Because of the giant barrier he has around him of what looks like Yoshi eggs. But just being careful enough, you can get past anything he sends at you. Okay. Okay. And his laser is relatively easy to dodge. Problem is, I also want to try and parry it. But that's just me being a little bit stupid. But come on. Can you die already? Oh, goodness. Alright, we're good. No, okay. Yeah, he can use his laser like right next to you, so be extremely careful about that. Like now. Okay. Barrier. How far was I? I'm right on top of it. I'm right on top of the next phase. Alright, there we go. Oh goodness. And this phase, it's weird. But it can, okay. I think it's easiest to like, oh, okay, no, never mind. Let me do this so I can get invisibility frames and get out of here. Okay. I was about to say that I might just be able to huddle myself up in a corner there, but unfortunately the game proved me wrong pretty instantly. And I lost all 3 hits there. Yay.
6.5 hours later.
Now, like I was saying, this can be either easy to dodge or incredibly difficult. But maybe if I just stay over to the side, then I'll be good. But, oh goodness. Yeah, the birds that are holding the giant bird up make this a little bit more difficult because of the fact that, okay, I couldn't even see the pill off the screen there, but I managed to defeat him. Yay. Like I said, it can be very easy or it can be very difficult. It was probably difficult because I was being stupid, but whatever. But with the birds, it doesn't help that the birds can actually block your attacks, or at least the bomb. Like, the bomb doesn't work out that well for most of that fight because a lot of attacks, attacks and like other objects just block out the bombs entirely, so you won't even hit your target, which is unfortunate. But we managed to get past him very, very easily compared to the dragon. Now, let's do this stage. Now, remember earlier when I was talking about, well, I don't even think I talked about it, but I brought up like something, but didn't actually explain anything? Well, that's because this song, okay, it need to, remember I'm playing Cuphead, difficult game, but, like I'm trying to talk and play the game at the same time, and it's not working out too well. Okay. Oh, goodness. But, get over here. But this song has a little bit of a Mario song in it. And it's playing right now, actually. So let me shut up. But yeah, that, like, people don't know if that was actually intentional. It probably was, given how this game is filled with references to, like, old stuff. Like I mentioned in the last episode, like, there's a reference to Street Fighter. So, it has to be a reference to Mario. Like, there's no way it's not a reference to Mario. Like, it's literally the same exact notes and everything. Okay, ow. But it's just the little things, man. There we go. Alright. Still getting all the coins as usual. Oh, no. That was a time where it was unavoidable for me getting hit. Okay, gotta watch out. Actually, can I just stand? No, I can't stand there. Okay. It's gotta be careful. There we go. We got this. Maybe. Hopefully. There's only one last little segment here, and then it should be... Okay. Gonna have to kill you first. But there's only one last segment left, and I think it's up here. But... it should be relatively easy as long as we just take our time and have the reaction speeds of a god. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get through this. Jump. But that's... I would love to make a percentage of what Cuphead is as like a gameplay perspective. Issue is, I'm trying to... Okay. I'm trying to play the game at the same time, and it's not exactly going to work out all that well if I do. So let's do that. That'll take out a good number of your health. There we go. Alright, and I think that's it, actually. Yes, it is. First try. Not bad. Not bad at all. Surprisingly enough, that was first try. Oh, goodness. Alright. Again, I'm very surprised I got that first try. I probably got a C on this, didn't I? C+. You can beat a level in one life, but that life doesn't matter. It does not matter. Well, not one life. There technically aren't lives in this game, but whatever. We are going to ignore that. Let's get into the shop and see what else we can get real quick. Welcome indeed. Okay, this is the only one I actually care about. Okay, everything else is abilities, I'm pretty sure. Well, it is abilities technically, but like charms and junk. But I don't really care too much about the other ones. Most of the other ones, they're not exactly, like, useless, but, I mean, I guess I just don't have a use for them. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. But we have two more things that we need to do. I think it's two. We have Beppy the Clown? Yeah, Beppy the Clown, which we're going to try and do now. And then we have one more airplane mission, which we're probably going to do next episode. So it's basically similar to how in the last episode I had it so where it was like one last thing and then we move on. Wait, what? Why? Okay, I didn't think I would get hit by that. I don't... Okay, whatever. I'll just have to accept it for right now. But this can get so much worse, so... Let me not make things so much more upsetting than it already is. Alright, so now we need to watch out for this train, and the dog balloons can spawn practically anywhere on screen, so okay. Yeah, this boss has stuff everywhere, so just gotta make sure you're looking around at all times. Oh, okay. I didn't think he would shoot that immediately. By the way, I actually forgot to mention, there's actually a, what was it? There's actually a glitch that is, well, it's probably a glitch or bug. Regardless, there's something that you can do in speedruns that allow you to pretty much completely break this fight at this point in the boss. I don't know how to do it, so I'm not going to show it off, but basically, oh, come on, I had to jump there. Oh, whatever. But, basically, I didn't even see what hit me there. But anyways, what would happen is that the balloon part of Beppy would stay in the background, but the like horse thing that he would be riding, that would still like go down at some point. But he wouldn't be attacking, so basically it's somewhat of a free fight. And I'm pretty sure it's actually like really consistent. I don't watch the speedruns enough or know enough information to say any judgment on that, but from what I know, it's relatively consistent. Alright, there we go, but we still have one more phase, and this phase isn't really, well, actually, I don't know, this phase is difficult, to be honest. I kind of forgot what this phase was, actually. Realistically, this phase is probably easy, especially with the change that I did to my loadout. So, oh no! Okay, I didn't expect the train to just ram me into oblivion. But, by the way, again, that super has no invincibility frames. So you have to be careful when you're using that. Okay, so now that we know to expect the train, yeah, the train moves so much faster, so have to be extremely careful about that. But this is relatively easier. I keep saying that, but then I end up just dying immediately. Okay, it's not over yet. Ow. Not over yet. Train. No, stupid penguin and the baseball. I was so close to.
Eventually.
Alright, need to make sure I can get rid of these penguins as quickly as possible, because that's what got me killed last time. It wasn't even the train, it was the penguins and their stupid baseballs. Come on. There we go. Alright. But yeah, as long as you can take care of those penguins, you're good. But the best thing to use is the scatter shot. I forget what it's actually called. I can check in a little bit. But the best thing to use is a scatter shot. It has the... like, you're going to be, like, right next to him pretty much the entire fight. So being able to get so much damage off like that is the best way to beat this fight. But he's not... like, a lot of people said that Beppy the Clown was, like, one of the hardest bosses. And he can be difficult, especially on, like, your first try. But he's not the hardest boss. There are definitely harder bosses in the game. But in the next episode, we're going to be fighting off against the Jimmy... I'm assuming that's how that's pronounced. The Jimmy the Great. But until next video, take care.